the WJAY in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. Just search WJAY Radio. Now, bring WJAY. Keep listening to WJAY 98.3 FM and 1280 AM, the County of Marion's local radio station.
Okay, you got that right on time. Sounds 8:30. Gonna say good morning to your brother Michael Jenkins.
Good morning to you, Tater, and good morning to everyone out there. Welcome to the program today. We have some news, not some news, of what's going on around here with the Marion football coaching situation. We haven't had any word yet that they have hired a coach, but that has to be coming up soon, since I believe spring practice starts next month. And it's kind of always a good practice to have your coach in place when spring practice begins, because I don't know who's left from last year's coaching staff, but I know that I'm pretty sure, I think most of the guys are gone. Most of the ones that were there last year are no longer there. So, which means you have to hire a whole coaching staff. And that begins with the head coach. Of course, administrators can kind of fill in the blanks before the head coach gets there. But traditionally, what you want is the head coach being the guy to select his guys. And right now, there's nobody in place that I know of. Now, in the Mullins coaching situation over there, also, I've got no words yet about what's happening with them. Of course, it's basketball season, and it's not as urgent as is football, since football season starts first. So those things are still up in the air here, and we'll be keeping you posted going forward to see, let you know what's going on if we find anything out. Of course, I'm wearing my Warriors gear today, and I'm wearing it in memoriam of the Warriors who lost last night and who are now not going to be a part of this year's playoff. Now, I'm very happy with what they did in the play-in game. They did win. Steph came back. He hadn't played since January, and he was spectacular, and they were wonderful, and they won. So congratulations to the Warriors on making an effort to get in the playoff, but they were not good most of the season. And Phoenix had like 9 games on them in the win columns, nine games in the loss column, and Phoenix was just too much for them last night. I didn't watch all of the game. I just saw a few minutes, and they got off to a bad start. And that's really what killed them last night, was that inauspicious start that they got off to. But anyway, it's a beautiful spring day out there. It's, moving towards summer. This was a hot week in the mid-90s on some days, some humidity, but it wasn't summer. You all know it wasn't summer, so don't be acting like, oh, summer, it's so hot out there. Just wait till June and July and August, and even in some cases, September. Everyone is thinking it's going to be a really hot summer. I was like, that's different from what summer down here. It's always hot down there in the summer. At any rate, baseball is going on, and there was a couple of big showdowns this week with Latta and Lakeview, and they tied into each other was 2 times this week. They played against each other, and I'm pretty sure that they split those games. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. So this was yesterday's score. Lakeview had just beaten them on, they don't have that game here. But I know Lakeview had just beaten them, I think something like 4-1 a couple days before. And then they tangled again last night, and Latta came away with a 12-2 victory over Lakeview. And let me see what the schedule, this is the standings. And the standings. Okay. Lakeview is the number one team in Region 6 right now, as they are 8 wins and 2 losses, 14-4 overall. Latta is second with a 6-2 mark, 16-4. So even that win yesterday didn't help Latta climb above Lakeview. Lakeview still rules the roost in that regard. Let's look at the rest of the conference. Green Sea Floyd's 5-3. They are third, 8-9 overall. Hannah Pamplico is tied with Green Sea at 5-3. They're in fourth place. Johnsonville in fifth at 2-4. Carvers Bay at 2-8. And Hemingway has not won a game yet. But looking at, we're going to go take a look at Marion real quick. And Marion did not have a good week. In fact, it might be described as a terrible week. They just could not make things happen out there, as their record now is at 4-11. And the ironic thing is those 4 wins all were conference wins, which is great for them, because that still puts them in the hunt of a playoff berth. Looking at what Marion has done in this lost week, on the 14th, they tangled with Lake City, and Lake City came away with an 18-0 victory over the Swamp Foxes. That was on the 14th. The next day, they tangled with Green Sea, and Green Sea was a winner there at 15-4. They went back at Lake City again on the 16th, and the results were pretty similar, as Lake City came away with a 16-1 win over the Swamp Foxes. So looking at their standings right now, Swamp Foxes are in fourth place. East Clarendon is the leader in the conference with an 8-0 record. They're 14-6 overall. Atlantic Collegiate is second. Oh, I just want to mention that Jaden Gerald has signed to play. He's headed to Iowa to a school out there. I don't remember the name of the school off the top of my head. It's a junior college. And I spoke with his mom. His mom said that this school is known for basically keeping guys for 1 year and getting them ready and having them go off to a Division I school. I think Jaden could get there. When I look at how he transformed his body, he was pudgy, he was way too heavy when he was here in Marion like over a year ago. But over last summer, he worked out, he slimmed himself down. I couldn't believe when I seen him that this was him. I mean, he really transformed his body. He looks great. And I think he has potential. I know he has potential. I've seen him play. I know he has everything he needs to be a bona fide player at the college level. So congratulations and good luck to Jaden. We all wish you well, son. But like I said, Atlantic Collegiate is second, followed by Lake City at 6-3. They are third. Marion is in the middle of the pack at 4-4. And they have a 2-game lead over Manning. Manning doesn't seem to be a team that is going to make any real noise. So Marion's in a pretty good shape right now. I'm pretty sure 4 gets in. And then you follow the rest of the conference. Manning 2-6, King Street 1-7, Mullins, Auctioneers are 1-9. But they had a big win this week. Let's talk about that for a second. Auctioneers right now come in at 3-11. They are 7th in the conference at 1-9. And this week, they played 1 game, I believe, and that was against Lee Central. and they came away with an impressive 18-0 victory over Lee Central. So Mullins is it's not been a great season so far for them, but we must keep in mind whenever you start talking about Mullins baseball and Marion County baseball, you must remember that to this date, Mullins is the only school in Marion County, public schools, who won the state championship in baseball. That's right. Mullins will always have that. I want to say the year was 1998. And they had a really good team that year. Hal Lambert, all those guys. So many guys, I can't remember all their names, but they were really good. And I actually seen them win that state championship. They played it at Abbeville. And it's kind of weird is that, maybe I shouldn't tell this story, but I have been having problems with my job at the time. And on this particular day, the day that Mullins was going to play at Abbeville, I got fired. That's right. So what do? I said, okay, I'm not going to sit there and cry about it. So I jumped in my little 1983 Toyota Celica GT, and I hopped out on I-20, and I was on my way to Abbeville. Abbeville is about 200 miles from here. But you think that I was going to let being fired spoil my day? I didn't. I went to that game. Everybody from Mullins was down there. Coach Gerald was there. Mullins won the game, and I got to cover the only state championship that I ever covered in Marion County since I've been doing this. It's kind of a crazy story. Of course, I went on later to get myself back together and get myself another job, because like I told those people who let me go, I was looking for a job when I came here. So anyway, let's take a look at some other teams here and other scores or whatever. Let's see. This is Hartsville. I'm taking a look now on the other side of I-95 and see what's going on over there. Hartsville looks like they're in pretty good shape. Red Foxes are 17-4 right now, 8-0 in the region. Of course, they lead the region. Hartsville baseball program is basically legendary. They've won some state championships over there. They're usually good. They're always good in football. They're usually good in basketball. Hartsville's got a great program. But last night they faced off against Crestwood, and Crestwood was no match for them as Hartsville hammered them 15-0. Let me take a look at what they've done so far schedule-wise. Well, they've beaten everybody. And what is their next game? Their next game is going to be against South Florence. So looking at the standings right now for this region, Region 4A, Region 5. Hartsville Red Foxes, top dogs. They are 17-4 overall, 8-0, like I said, but they got company because they got a big game coming up against South Florence, who is also 8-0, tied for the conference lead. Well, look at Wilson. Wilson seemed to have gotten their act together after a couple of early season stumbles, including against Latta. Latta beat them really bad. But right now they're in third place. Darlington Falcons, 5-3. They're in fourth place. They are 6-7 overall. Lower Richland is 2-8. They're in fifth place. They are 4-13 overall. Lakewood is 1-7. They are 2-13 overall. And Crestwood is 0-10. They're 3-14 overall. So the baseball in this conference has not been terribly good. The bottom half of the conference is actually pretty bad. So Hartsville, South Florence, chances are one of the movers and shakers are going to come from one of those two. Looking at next, West Florence. And West Florence comes in at 13-6 right now. They beat South Florence 11-1. That was on yesterday. So South Florence has dropped the game. Hartsville is really in the lead now. Now let's see what West. Now West went through a really bad stretch this year in March, and they lost. My goodness, they lost 5 in a row. They got beat by East Clarendon 5-1. They got beat by Sumter 4-1. They got beat by Sumter again 6-5. They got beat 4-2 by Blythewood, and then Blythewood beat them again on the second 7-6. Ridgeview was a big win for these guys, that they beat them 5-3. Then they came back and beat East Clarendon 9-6. Beat Ridgeview 16-0 before beating South Florence on yesterday 11-1. So West Florence is doing okay. I like to take a look at the other local teams instead of just the Marion County teams that try to pull in our PD area brethren. And one of our PD area brethren is none other than the Dillon Wildcats. And well, you know the history of Dillon. You know they've been good for a long time. They had some down years, but usually Dillon is right there in the mix. And this year they are 12-3, and they lead their region with a 6-2 mark. They nipped Marlborough County yesterday, 3-2. But they also played Marlborough County earlier in the week, I believe. Yeah, they beat them twice. They beat them 11-1 and 3-2. Now Dillon has Aner twice and a school called St. Paul's. But the Aner game, let me look at this conference standing again. Let's take one last look here. Well, Aner is going to be the team they're going to need to beat, because right now they are tied at the top of the conference at 6-2, with Georgetown nipping at their heels. So Dillon has still got work to do, and but they have won 4 games in a row. That's a good thing. They're more than holding their own, all those Dillon Wildcats. Let's take a look at. I want to take a look at who the top teams in the nation are. Then I'll go back to who the top teams in South Carolina are. Now, what I noticed about this list is most of the teams in here are not public schools. I guess it's similar to what you have in football, high school football, and high school basketball. The national polls are dominated by these big academies and stuff, these basically sports factories. And this baseball is no different, no exception. I'm just going to read you the top 10 in the nation and where they're from. Number 1 ranked team in the nation is a school called Tomball, and Tomball is in Texas. And they are unbeaten at 29-0, and they are the number 1 team in the nation. They are followed by Orange Lutheran out of California. They are 14-3. You have Venice out of Florida, 25-1. They are 3rd. Barbe, B-A-R-B-E, out of Louisiana, they're 33-1. And they are ranked 4th. The 5th ranked team is Caleland, and they're out of Texas, 25-2. Number 6 is Norco, N-O-R-C-O, out of California. They are 17-2 and ranked number 6. Number 7 is Trinity, out of Kentucky. They're 17-2. Harvard Westlake, it's in the Los Angeles area. They are ranked number 8, and they are 16-4. Canterbury out of Florida, 21-3, and they are ranked number 9. And the 10th ranked team is the Bennett School. Looking a little bit beyond that, IMG Academy is 11. I want to scroll to see if there was any South Carolina schools in there. And in the top 25, I don't see any. So no top 10 schools, no South Carolina schools in the top 10 in the nation. But I wanted to take a look at, let's see. I want to take a look at the South Carolina schools. Let's see. But yeah, baseball's winding down. And I haven't seen any games yet. I hope to see a couple of games before the season's over. But, and chances are, I'm going to be taking a closer look at Lakeview and Dillon because, Lakeview and Latta. Those two over the last couple of years have always been the ones left standing. So that's why it always became, usually it's them that I get to see at the end of the year when I don't see any games the rest of the time. But let's talk, I can't really find that thing right now. Let's talk about what's going to happen with, first of all, let me talk about Steph Curry. Okay. Steph Curry, to me, is a guy who has changed everything in the NBA. Okay. You remember when he came on the scene back during the NCAA tournament? He was just a little guy. Just a little guy who was passed over in recruiting by the Blue Bloods in North Carolina, Duke in North Carolina. Neither one of them wanted him. It says his dad and him asked the Tar Heels, I think, if he could walk on, try out and walk on for the team. And they said, nah, we don't need that. We don't need you, little guy. Well, as they say, the rest is history. As Steph Curry has gone on to become legendary. He lit things up in that tournament, had everybody all messed up. But I think at that moment, we all kind of realized that this kid was different. Now, it really didn't take him too long to get people's attention, but over the years, he has built up his reputation to mythical standards, to a mythical level. No one has been able to do what Steph Curry does or has done. They just haven't been able to exceed what he's done in his career. And this is a guy that a lot of people didn't give a lot of credit that he was going to be good. But turns out the guy's been spectacular. Let's look at South Carolina's, jump back to South Carolina's rankings, the overall rankings for a minute. And Ridgeview is the number 1 ranked team in the state. They are followed by North Augusta. And I'm going to stop here for a second because how ridiculous is the athletics in the North Augusta area? I mean, you take a look at their basketball teams, the girls' basketball teams, the boys' basketball teams. They're winning mostly all the time. Now, apparently, baseball ain't something they can't do. They can't do because they're number 2 in the state overall. North Augusta. Oh my goodness, no. Boy, I tell you the truth. I'm sitting there looking at basketball. Too much. So cancel all that, even though I know that North Augusta is great in basketball. Maybe Maybe I just need to see that, but their baseball program is not up there. I'm going to tell you in a minute who is up there. Mm-mm-mm-mm. The NBA playoffs is going to be fun this year. I'm going to be watching. There are some teams that I still like in there. I wanted Charlotte to still be in there, but they got hammered last night down in Orlando. I believe that going forward, though, the Charlotte Hornets can be really good. I'm a fan of LaMelo Ball. I'm a fan of several players on that team. And I believe at some point there's going to be a breakthrough. And you're going to see the Charlotte Hornets galvanize the South Carolina and North Carolina fan base, where they're going to start being a real problem. I love LaMelo Ball. I think he's an exceptional player. Okay, here we go with the baseball. And as you will notice, most of the schools are the big schools from the metro areas. Those are the teams that are ranked high. Dorman is ranked number 1. That's Spartanburg. They're 18-2. Right down the road from them in Boiling Springs, that's Spartanburg 2. Boiling Springs is number 2 at 16-3. Then you go down to Charleston, James Island, 19-1. You go to Columbia now with Blythewood, 18-2. James F. Burns, I think that's up in the Lexington area. That's the Columbia area too. I don't know about Fountain Inn, but I think River Bluff is up that way. I think River Bluff is in Lexington. And then you have North Myrtle Beach. They're ranked number 8. Of course, they're from up our way. And then number 9 is Airport. Number 10 is HHCA, whoever that is. Number 11 is Hillcrest. Number 12 is Great Collegiate Academy. Number 13 is AC Florida. And AC Florida has a great baseball tradition as well. Carolina Forest is building theirs. They're at 14. Then you have Stratford out of Charleston area. You have Spartanburg High School, obviously, out of Spartanburg. Then you have Chapin. You have Atlanta Collegiate down at the beach. That's big for them to be like in the top 20 in the state. This school really just came into existence just a few years ago. But here they are. And then you have number 19 is J.L. Mann. They're followed by Indian Land, Malden, Pinewood Prep, Philip Simmons, Mountain View, and Berkeley. So as you can see, the top teams in the state ranked are big schools from metro areas. You don't see any of those smaller schools in the mix. But let's take a look at 2A real quick and see where we are with them. Atlanta Collegiate obviously is number 1 since they're ranked top 25 overall. And then you have Philip Simmons, they're 2nd. Batesburg Leesville is 3rd. Clinton is 4. Followed by number 5, Landrum, number 6, Saluda, number 7, Chesney, number 8, East Clarendon, number 9, 96, number 10, Andrews, number 11, Bridges Prep, number 12, Chesterfield. Lake City is ranked 13th. Mid Carolina is ranked 14th. Academic Magnet is ranked 15th. And they are followed by Central. Did I not see Central play against Lakeview last year? Did they not win a state championship last year? I think they did. At any rate, Woodland is 17, Liberty is 18, Pelion is 19, ALA is 20, whoever that is, Barnwell is 21, York Prep is 22, Andrew Jackson's always in the mix. They're at 23. Maybe it was Andrew Jackson that Lakeview played last year. I think it was, down in Florence. Buford is 24. and Chiraw is 25. Anyway, with 1 minute left, Tater tells me I'm going to tell you something that happened to me this morning. I woke up, I started preparing my program, make myself a little coffee, and it occurred to me, my grandson's laying in the bed in there. That was a wonderful feeling. Knowing that your little grandson is in there, resting, sleeping, in the house with you on a Saturday morning. Let's talk blessings here, folks. This is his life as a youngster, and he's spending time with you. It's amazing. So blessed. So grateful for all my grandkids, of which I have 7. Those boys are a trip, but they are really something, and they're great to be around. Anyway, that's all the time I have left. I'll be back next week with more. You have a wonderful, safe week. Let's go watch some NBA basketball. It's getting ready to be on. Wait, it says a plane crashing. Anyway, that's all the time I have later. We're out.